What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, it's going to be straightforward how to get accounting clients for your bookkeeping business, accounting business, payroll, finance business, stuff like that. Now, this concept, it's of getting clients and signing clients and everything like that. It's very simple, but it's not easy. And what I mean by that is the concepts to actually get clients, it's stupid simple, but to actually get them, it does require work. And whether that's sweat equity, so you manually doing actual work, or what's the word that I'm looking for? Finance work, or where you put money to work, okay? Stuff like that. So there's three ways to actually get clients for your accounting business, your vast business, bookkeeping business, and it's the exact same as every other business in the entire world. I do not care what kind of business you run or service that you have, anything like that. To get clients, it is the exact same, okay? And hold on. Getting bombarded with messages here. Okay, I just put that on silent. Cool. So the three ways, okay? Well, actually, before we get into the three ways, you need to have some kind of an offer, okay? What are you actually providing? Are you doing bookkeeping? Are you doing payroll? Are you doing tax services? Are you doing estate planning? Like, what are you actually providing? And you need to have it clear enough where when someone asks you, what are you doing? You need to be able to say it within 1 to 3 sentences. Most people say, I help X company achieve X result through X process. That's fine, but the only thing about that is I find in accounting, it's not enough to spice it up. Like, okay, let's say that you have a bookkeeping offer, okay, and you do corporate bookkeeping. Don't say you do bookkeeping, because then you're just going to get commoditized and people are going to go for the cheapest one. Say that you're going to increase their cash flow or something like that. Even though, yeah, sure, at the end of the day, you are essentially doing bookkeeping, but you need to package it up in a way that sounds exciting. And at the end of the day, if you do a good job on the actual bookkeeping, you are going to increase their cash flow because they're going to be faster on their receivables. They're going to know exactly what their profit and loss is, where to cut expenses, where to increase expenses to increase revenue, stuff like that. So getting into it, you need an offer. Once you get an actual offer, you need traffic. Now, you could have the best offer in the entire world and you could have no traffic, you're going to be poor. You're going to be broke and you're going to make no money. You could have an average offer, but if you have a lot of traffic, well, you're going to make money. I would even argue if you have a terrible offer, but you have traffic, you're going to make money. You're probably not going to make a lot, but you're not going to be broke and you're not going to be starving. So you need an offer and you need traffic, okay? Now, how do you get traffic? There are so many different ways that you could get traffic. Essentially, traffic meaning like eyeballs looking at your offer, people seeing you, people knowing about you, people hearing about your kind of service. There are 3 main ways to get traffic. And inside of those 3 ways, it breaks out into a whole bunch of stuff. It's almost like a tree branch. You know how you got the branch and then another branch branches out, and then on that branch, more branches branch out, whatever. It's like spider web or whatever that thing is called. Anyways, so you have three main ways. Your first one is cold outreach. Now, cold outreach is cold emailing, cold calling, cold DMing, okay? Your second one is content. Posting on TikTok, posting on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, maybe Snapchat, although I don't know if Snapchat would be useful in the professional service, but it could be. Who knows? I've never tried it, but it could work. Any kind of social media that you could post stuff, blogs, stuff like that. Although I do not recommend blogs. Nobody's reading blogs. Unless if your target market is like 80 or 90-year-olds and you're trying to get their estate filing done and you're trying to get that kind of business, maybe blogs work because elderly people like to read longer stuff and they've actually got the bandwidth to sit down for more than 5 minutes and read something. The younger generation doesn't have that, okay? Their brains, my brain, your brain, everyone's brains. If you are below the age of 40, your brain has probably most likely been fried by social media where your attention span is not what it used to be. So you've got cold outreach and then you've got content marketing. And now the third one is paid advertising. Paid advertising can be Facebook ads, Google ads, Instagram ads, cold email. Cold email, what I mean by that is paying to get inside of their inbox. You can run cold email completely organic and free without any cost, but you could do paid email marketing and paid campaigns and that kind of stuff. So now that we've decided, well, not decided, but now that we've identified the three main ways to actually get clients through cold outreach, content marketing, and paid, is you need to now pick one. Now, I'll make a separate video on how to pick the right one and which one you pick, how to actually do it. And if you guys want to watch that one, then stay tuned. Go ahead and subscribe, because I'll be posting that one sometime in the future. I don't know when, but I'll post something like that. Anyways, once you figure out what you're doing, the number one thing that you have to do is you have to be consistent with it. I do not want to hear that you started doing cold outreach and you've done it for a month and you've got no clients and it doesn't work, okay? Cold outreach works. Do I like it? No. Are you going to like it? Probably not. But cold outreach does work. Do I recommend it? Not really. If you have no money and you are absolutely broke, like you got $0, that's your only other option, is to do cold outreach. And that's when you have to do it. But going back to the main point, you have to be consistent with it, okay? It's okay to pivot and tweak your approach a little here and there. Like let's say if you start out with cold calling, you don't really like cold calling, so you switch to cold DMing or you switch to cold email. That's fine. But you have to stay consistent with it, okay? You can't just do it for a month, get burnt out and tired, and then not do it for a month, and then come back a couple months later and redo it and expect results, okay? It's just not going to happen. You have to be consistent with it. Like I said, it's okay to pivot. It's okay to transition into different methods, tweak something here and there, but you have to overall be consistent with it, okay? Got my notes right here. And the reason for that is you have to be top of mind, okay? Because you may be reaching out to someone who doesn't need your service right now, but maybe in a month from now, they might need it. Something actually happened to me about a month ago. I've been following up with this guy who sent in a inquiry. For those of you who are just seeing this video for the first time, and this is the first time that we're talking, I run an accounting and bookkeeping firm. I call it a VAS business, virtual accounting service. I run it out of Canada, and I got an inquiry from this guy who said that he had a bunch of CRA audits that he had to deal with. For my fellow Americans, the CRA is essentially the same thing as the IRS. So he was getting audited by them, and he said that he's going to need some assistance. So we went back and forth. We talked shop. I quoted him about $5,000 to $10,000, depending on what was involved. And I didn't hear back from him for about a month. And during that month, I was sending him emails. I was giving him quick phone calls to see exactly where things at. And he was ghosting me every single time. He wasn't responding. He wasn't answering the calls, nothing like that. But I kept following up with him. And what had happened was the CRA froze his bank accounts, okay? That put pressure on him to get that job done, and I was top of mind because I was following up with him. I can guarantee you he went to 4 or 5 other firms, and they all probably quoted him lower, and maybe he wasn't ready, he wasn't fully committed, he wasn't in enough pain or enough agony to fully pay for that service. Therefore, he didn't officially hire anyone. But once they froze his bank accounts, okay, now things just got serious because they essentially just cut off your lifeline to survive. You need food, you need to pay for your bills and stuff like that to survive. If you don't have a bank account, you can't do that. So what had happened was, because I followed up with him all the time and I was top of mind, the second he was ready to buy and committed, he hired me. He signed the contract, put the deposit down, and you might be wondering, well, how do you put the deposit down if his bank was frozen? I don't ask questions that, first off, doesn't involve me, second off, I don't really care about, and third off, doesn't do anything for me, okay? He paid the retainer, great, let's get to work. I don't care how. So, because I was consistent with it, okay, he hired me the second that he needed that service right now. So that's why you have to be consistent. If I were to reach out to him, give him that $5,000 to $10,000 quote, send him over a little proposal, and I just left it, he probably would have went back to a couple of other people that he had a little bit longer conversation with. Their service probably wasn't going to be better. In fact, I can guarantee you it wasn't going to be better. In fact, it's not better than my service. Anyways, but because I was consistent with it, the second he needed that, he reached out and he confirmed the whole deal, and eventually I closed that $5,000 to $10,000 deal. So that's a prime example of why you have to be consistent. You have to be top of mind, because the second that they need that service, you got to be the first one that they think of. Those are the ways that you get clients, okay? You need to do one of those three things. You could do all three of them, although I don't recommend it. That could be overwhelming. Personally, for me, I can handle a lot. Like, I can handle stress. I could do 4 or 5 hours a night of sleep, and I can go and grind every single day. I can handle that. And even I would find trying to learn all three of those would be overwhelming, and I'd probably burn out. So I suggest start with one. Once you get consistent with one, maybe explore another one. But then again, at the same time, if you get good at one and you're getting results, there's no point in switching things up, okay? Don't fix something that's not broken. So you need to figure out which one that you're doing. Are you doing cold outreach? Are you doing content marketing, or are you doing paid ads? You have to figure that out, and you have to commit, and you have to really do that. Now, once you get the actual client, or not client, sorry, but prospect, and you get them interested, you have to follow up with them. You have to nurture them, and you have to be top of mind. And that could be pretty manual work to follow up with them. I know that what I do is very manual, and you could hire someone, but there's always some situations that I personally know of that my staff or employees or virtual assistants wouldn't know of that could close a deal, essentially. So what you could do, and this is what I'm doing. In fact, I'm actually building out a software for this. I'm in the testing phase of rolling this out for my own firm. But essentially what the software does is I've made a list here. This software manages all of my client projects, all of my staff projects. So if I want to see what staff member A is doing, I can click into what they're doing, and I can see a dashboard of what projects they're on, if they sent the client questions, if they're waiting for documents from the client, if they've completed it and they sent it to me for review. But let's say I just haven't checked my email, I can see that those files are ready to review, and I can make any corrections or anything like that. So it manages all of my client projects, okay? First thing it does is it has an AI chat inside of the software that will do all of your prospect nurturing. So it will automatically send out emails. It will automatically send out text messages. It will automatically phone that prospect, and you can put your own voice memo in there to make it sound like yourself, and the AI will call that prospect and either set up appointments, answer questions, or possibly, I'm still working on this, possibly close deals on the phone where you don't have to be there. And that's all done with AI and software. So what that does is, first off, that frees up your payroll, because if you don't want to do that kind of work, you're going to have to hire someone else to do it. Once you hire someone, once you actually go through the process of hiring, you then need to train them. You need to get them set up on your actual system. Once they're set up on your system, you need to manage them. You need to take care of them and stuff like that. And it's overall a huge investment to hire employees. Excuse me. Also looking at my notes here. One other thing that the software does is it does automatic account receivables management. So what do I mean by that? When I send out any kind of invoice to a client, if they're not already on some kind of a monthly billing automatic subscription type model, and maybe I do one-off projects, or maybe just the nature of the client doesn't do monthly, like I've got $10,000 clients that I bill annually, but just because of the way that their business is, they don't like monthly payments. They would rather do one big $10,000 bill at the end of the year. And sometimes they do take a while to pay those invoices. Like if I send them a $10,000 bill on January 1st, that's probably not going to get paid till January 20th, maybe first week of February. What this AI does is it does automatic account receivables management. So it will call your clients, it will text your clients, and it will email all of your clients auto billing reminders, okay? That is so huge, at least for me, because that's going to free up a lot of my cash flow, and that's going to overall lower my account receivables. And the best part about it, I set it and I forget it. Okay. I set it. I like to check in on it and see kind of how it's doing, maybe tweak this, maybe tweak that, but I'm the one that's building it. Okay. It's my actual software that I'm building. And that's why I like to go in there and tweak stuff. If this was a software that I bought off a company or something, I wouldn't even bother checking on it. I just make sure that it works. If something broke, I'd reach out to that company. I'd say, hey, this thing's not working. Can you come in and fix it? So I'm doing all this, and it's all 100% automated. I'm freeing up a lot of time, a lot of payroll, and it's software. Like I like it a lot. I think it's really good. And I'm really happy with the way that this stuff is turning out. So I'm going to end this video just to recap and wrap it up. If you want to get clients, you need a clear offer, okay? And you have to package it accordingly. Once you have an offer, you need eyeballs, you need traffic. To get traffic is 3 ways: cold outreach, content marketing, and paid advertising. Once you actually get prospects, you need to nurture them and you need to essentially warm them up. And how you do that is you send them emails, you send them text messages, you check in on them with phone calls, stuff like that. You want to be top of mind, okay? Once you achieve all of those and you actually start closing deals, that's when you want to start to invoice them and actually manage that side. So with that being said, I'm going to end this video. If you do run an accounting firm or bookkeeping firm or VAS-based business or anything like that, and you want to learn more about this software and you want to have a actual AI that will manage all of your prospects, that will do automatic account receivables management, it'll call, text, email all of your clients that have to pay invoices, and it will do it sounding like your actual voice. If you want to learn more about that, and if you would be potentially interested in that, I'm going to host a waiting list down below. Go ahead and fill out that form, and I will send you an email once I'm officially done with the actual software. Because right now, I'm still kind of building it out. I'm still kind of working out the bugs. I'm testing it on my own business. And what I can say is, first off, it's freed up a lot of my time. Second off is it's about to start closing deals. I'll make a separate video on this, but just to tell you one funny thing, I forgot to turn the software off. I think it was Friday evening or Saturday evening. And what actually happened was someone submitted a form at like 11 or 12 o'clock at night, and my AI called that prospect at night and nurtured them for about 20 minutes at 11 o'clock. And it was freaking hilarious, okay? I'll make a complete separate video on that, but yeah, if you would be interested in that, great. Go ahead and sign up for the email list, and I'll send you a email with more details and kind of when I'm planning to release this. So, ladies and gentlemen, with that said, thank you very much for watching this. I will see you in the next one. Peace.